Okay, so what you're looking at here is, again, called a payout matrix. In oligopoly, what you will often see is that they will ask you oligopoly questions in the form of what's called a payout matrix. In this example, I made a sample problem of Jewel and Walt's grocery stores, and they could either choose to advertise or not advertise. AP likes to ask very simple questions with game theory. I've seen them say, given this matrix, what market structure is this? The answer is oligopoly. And so another fundamental question that they'll often ask is they'll say, if Jewel advertises, how much money will Waltz earn if they do not advertise? In other words, they're just going to ask a very basic question about reading it. Jewel advertises, that means we're in this row. Waltz does not advertise, and if that's the answer, then, I'm sorry, if that's the question, then what that means is that the profit for Waltz is only going to be 50. And so remember the first thing then, the first number in each cell goes left. So if Jewel advertises, they can make 100 if Waltz advertises, but if Waltz does not advertise, Jewel would make 150. Remember, the second number in each cell goes up. And so AP, what they're going to ask you are fundamental questions. What kind of structure is this? This is an oligopoly. This is called a payout matrix. They might ask you actually how to read the payout matrix. And then finally, they'll go through a series of questions about either what's called the cooperative or the non-cooperative outcome. If they are cooperating, usually you can just look at it with your eyes and say, hey, I see the answer. This is the cooperative outcome because it's best for both. If you look at the numbers, the sum, 300, is bigger than the rest. This probably is the one that's best for both. This would be what we call the cooperative outcome. The firms technically aren't supposed to cooperate. Remember, firms must compete. Firms cannot share pricing or production information. Firms cannot work together to set price. And so they've got to make the decision to advertise or not advertise without consulting the other company. And so, but if they did consult, Waltz would advertise, Jewel would not advertise, and then this would be the answer. This is called the cooperative outcome. But in the real world, they're not going to be allowed to do that. Instead, they're going to have to go through what's called the non-cooperative outcome. They're going to have to go through what's called max-min strategy. Max-min strategy is the idea that each company involved is going to find their worst number and remove it. Looking at Jewel, they could make 100 or 150, or they could make 150 or 50. Jewel sees this number 50, and they want to maximize their minimum. They're going to say, I'm never going to make that. That's too little. The decision for Jewel that caused that is the not to advertise, which means using max-min strategy, Jewel is never going to not advertise. In other words, Jewel is always going to choose to advertise. Waltz is going to do the same thing. Remember, they do this in a vacuum. They don't consult each other. So Waltz is looking at their numbers. The lowest number for Waltz is a 25. It looks like they have 100, 150, 50, or 25. So Waltz is also not going to advertise. In the end, then, what we see is that this outcome here is the last one available. This is the fact that they went through max-min strategy is called the non-cooperative outcome. Waltz will advertise and earn 100. Jewel will advertise and earn 100. This is called the non-cooperative outcome.